everyone, welcome back to Low Luxury, the channel where I show you what authentic luxury clothing and streetwear looks like. Today I'm so happy to be showing you a real pair of off-white HG runner sneakers. Let's get right into it. Oh, and hey, before I forget, subscribe to my channel. If you're into this video, you'll probably be into a bunch of my other ones, so get into it. Alright, first let's take a look at this box, and you can see it's a bit more square than most shoe boxes, which are usually more of a rectangular shape, but this one, it is still a rectangle, but much closer to a square, as you can see. And you can see the color here, it's a kind of greenish off-white, and you can see the box has a texture to it, kind of these vertical lines to it. And the print is very simple. In the top left, you've got the 2013 with the copyright. Then above and to the right of that, you've got shoebox in quotations. And then off on the right, and that top line is even with the 2013 on the left. You've got the off-white CO Virgil Abloh, and then that sort of off-white motto there. And then centered at the bottom, you've got off-white trademark. There's nothing on either of the long sides or the bottom. One of the short sides does have this SB for shoebox in the bottom left. And this is identical to what you'd see on the off-white product bags. So this one underneath, and this is even with the SB, off-white official shoebox. And then SB 4 times, and again off-white official shoebox in its own little box right there. And then the other short side is where you find all the good stuff. So you may see various retailer stickers over here, but the really important thing is on this card that's just folded over the inside of the box. And you can see it is the same color as the box itself, but this one, it doesn't have that texture to it. And up here in black, you've got those off-white bars, and then off-white CO Virgil Abloh, and then you get more of an explanation of the brand itself. Feel free to pause here and check against your own. And then you get this style. The off-white stuff pretty much always, I think, starts with an O. So this one is OMIA, and so on and so forth. And that should match wherever else we see it. Model, which is HG Runner. Color, violet black. And size, first in EU, which is a 44, and then US 10.5, UK 10. And off in the right, in a square box here, we get the outline of the shoe itself. And this is very clean, not faded at all. Now let's unbox these. Moment of truth. So first thing up top, we have the dust bag. And again, it's that greenish off-white, and then off-white CO Virgil Abloh, trademark. And then you've got 2 white strings with ties at the end that can kind of cinch it shut. The stock paper inside is that same green, and it says off-white, trademark, and then pattern in quotations, right? And that's kind of pressed into there, so it's not really its own color, it's almost like a lack of color. Interesting. Now we get to look at the shoes. Fun. So first off, these shoes are quite heavy. They're heavier than the usual running shoe, I'd say, and that's probably due to the thickness of the sole. The midsole specifically, because look at that thing. It is beastly. And you can see in there a kind of line where it looks like the sole may have been put together, right? It goes down the whole thing. And then this black piece comes in and meets up with that line right here. And it does have a light curve to it going up into the back of the shoe. Of course, we're always going to be looking at the stitching for consistency, and you can see there are no wonky stitches here. Interestingly, they are double stitched, but it looks like the double stitches, they don't match up. They're not parallel with each other. They kind of switch back and forth in a zigzag pattern, right? And that seems to happen pretty consistently throughout the shoes. And you can see we've got 2 main materials here. We've got this suede, and it is a pretty rough suede, right? You can see quite a bit of texture in there. And then we've got this kind of satin material here in purple. And you can see that has vertical lines going all the way through it. And that is consistent with everywhere we see this satin. Take a look at the shapes of any cutouts here. Like, take a look at how this widens out and then tapers a bit coming into the midsole. And look at the angles of these cutouts here. And they're not sort of tight angles here. They're rounded, right? There's no harsh angles here. Same thing with this, it's narrower and then it widens out at this point and then narrows again going into the back. And now if we look at the counter, we can see we've got a big piece of suede here and then a black piece going along here, and you can see where that kind of meets up and where it attaches to the other pieces of the shoe. Another good thing to look at is the waviness of the piece of suede for the laces here. Look at those waves going up and down there, and then how it connects to the kind of ankle area. Those are very specific kind of movements there and very clean cuts, so like very little suede left over at the end of the stitches. And of course, no off-white shoe would be complete without the orange zip tie, and this would be on the right shoe. It is quite a large zip tie compared to some off-white stuff, and the text is quite clear there. The 2013 zip tie off-white all caps. And then that midsole is the kind of beige and black, and then you've got the black sole itself, which is a bit glossier than the midsole. And looking at the outsole itself, it is just that kind of glossy black, and you've got these stripes going through, right? Thicker at the heel, and going to kind of a point there. And then in the middle of that, in a little sort of rectangular box, and these are kind of embossed in there, you can feel the letters running sole in quotations, 2013 copyright, and then the off-white motto. And that is all quite clean, it's not messy or anything. Another important thing to look at when you're legit checking shoes is the kind of toe where the sole comes up. So you can see that angle there where the midsole ends and flips up there, and you can see how far it comes up. If you're looking at the shoe head on, that's what it should look like. The patch here obviously is very striking, and you can see it's kind of got zigzag stitches, one going that way and then one going vertically here. And then there is a hole there. It's not quite centered with the point, it's slightly above it. And embroidered down at the bottom is off with 3 Fs. And you can see each of those letters is individual. It doesn't look like they are touching. Each one was done separately. And if we flip that up and look at the underside, you cannot see the underside of that embroidery of those letters. And that lace does go through it right there. Again, it's not even with this vertical stitching, but it is above and to the left. Of course, the laces have that shoelaces quotation mark print, and that is very clean and centered on there in all caps. And now if we look at the tongue, it does have a suede patch here, and that says Off-White, CO Virgil Abloh, made on earth, designed on a plane, 2013 copyright. And it is kind of hard to read that because it is pressed into suede, like that's tough to do. So don't be too alarmed if that text is a bit messy. And you can see the edges of the suede are a bit rough here. And then it turns into that satin underneath. And then you've got, it's not a satin here, that's just more of a polyester type fiber rounding over into the inside of the tongue. The counter is a white leather, and you can see where it ends there and kind of goes around the back of the shoe. And this is padded here with 2 pieces. You can kind of see the shape there and the gap in between them. And if we look at the inside of the tongue here, printed on there in black is the size, the European size, in quotation marks, in this case 44, and then underneath in all caps, made in Italy. And if we take a look at the insert, it is black with the white off-white arrows in it, and those take up most of the heel area. And if we take that insert out, we can see it is quite long and narrow, and then it's cut at the end. Underneath it is kind of an off-white, and at the heel there, it says SPAC, and you can see the pattern of this insole here, this insert, and then a little just kind of box towards the toe there. Underneath that insert is kind of a fiberboard, and you can see the tacks coming through here. Again, a nice kind of handmade quality that the fakes, it's very likely they won't achieve that. Now that we've checked them out, I think it's time to try them on. So these are size 44, but I would say they fit tight because I fit best in a size 43, and these, they feel very much like that. So I would consider sizing down slightly if you're kind of between sizes. You can see that they kind of roll with the step because of the cut of the sole right there. It's very nice. It is a very kind of sleek runner's cut. And yeah, I'm really happy with how they fit. The insert is very comfortable and really kind of grips my foot. So that is how you tell the difference between a real and a fake pair of off-white HG runners. Take a look at the other video on screen here, subscribe to this channel if you like it, leave a like for this video, and I will see you next time.